And we're live. So, guys, this podcast is based on my paranoia, nothing else. And I want to, do an episode once a week on different topics that threaten every dealership's existence. So last week we did an episode on what happens if Carvana opens a new car franchise in your PMA. And today we're going to speak about regulatory risk, especially FTC regulations that affect car dealers. And I'd like to introduce my dear friend, Giulio Battista, who happens to be a good friend of mine for the last 25 years. And he's the dealer principal of Teddy Nissan, Teddy Volkswagen. And I don't know if I can say it, but you have
You
a grand
you
opening coming up of
you could you,
Teddy Volkswagen in Queens next week. And we spoke on the phone prior to this podcast, and I asked Julia, which risk he sees as the most prevalent, and I guess the most dangerous. And he said regulations, especially FTC, and the dealers that happen to be bad apples.
agree.
So, let's dive into it because, in my honest opinion, right, I think the real FTC regulations did not start with car dealers. I think it's Ticketmaster and StubHub that triggered this whole thing, right? Because if you ever bought a ticket, right, to go to a basketball game or a hockey game, it says the ticket is $200, and then you click checkout.
Max, I think that dealers are an easy target the way that they conduct business, as we know. So unfortunately, they only learn, when they get in trouble. And we all know the FTC rules regulations have been around forever, but it's now becoming reality, right? And it's all over social media, it's all over the news. FTC. So for dealers that have been conducting business in a deceptive way, this is obviously a huge problem for them. Dealerships like ours that obviously do things the right way, advertise correctly, don't play any games, don't charge any fees. The impact on our business, unfortunately, has been that we are not in a level playing field, right? We're competing in an environment where you have multiple dealers doing things, I was going to say illegal, but let's just say in a deceptive way. And clients are obviously inventory and price. That's what they look at. And they're looking at some dealerships and they go, wow, look at this price, right? They only learn, unfortunately, when they visit the store. Obviously, if they call them, I don't think they're going to get any um, different information from others. So when they visit the store, the surprise comes in. Now, a certain percentage of those clients will start um, complaining to the agencies, complaining on social media, creating a lot of noise, which I think it's part of why we are where we are now. And others will buy the car. So dealerships like that are driving so much traffic because the price is obviously below market, way below market. I'm not talking about $1,000, $2,000. There's places out there advertising cars 5 to 10 grand below to drive all of this traffic. And for them, it's a numbers game. They drive XYZ number of ups every single day. Yes, everyone's upset, but at the end of the day, they still sold the cars that they wanted at the price that they wanted. And keeping those high margins blinds everyone to the potential liability that they're going to be facing. And this is what we're dealing with right now.
But do you think that dealers continue to advertise in this deceptive way because they don't believe that FTC is going to get them?
I think most dealers, and we can talk about how we got here, right? Let's talk about third-party sites. Let's talk about Car Gurus and on Auto Trader, Cars.com, Carfax, whoever dealers are doing business with and sharing the inventory feed. When they first started, they came to you and they said, "Hey guys, Just give me your feed. I'm gonna put your cars. We're gonna get you some customers. And at that time, it would cost us nothing to do that. Well, now they own millions of cars. They have the inventory, so they're driving the traffic to their sites, um, and it became a race to the bottom. So if Teddy Nissan was advertising an Ultima for 19.9, the other Nissan dealership would go to 19,000. Teddy would go back and less, and everyone sooner, very soon, start advertising cars at cost and below cost to be competitive in the market. So part of what we're facing today is just that. Vauto, VinQ, whoever other amazing platforms are out there to tell you what you should be marketing your car for is all based on data that they collect from sales. And it really hurt the business as a whole. And now you see dealerships that don't know, to answer your question, don't know how to do it any other way. They don't know how to market properly. They don't know how to invest properly and partner up with the right team. And the only thing they know is low prices are going to drive traffic. I'm sure many are trying to change, but they're not being successful. It's hurting their bottom line. They're not making the money, and I think greed takes over. And I think it's going to take more dealers because some already are in trouble. Some are losing licenses. I'm talking about franchise dealers, independents. You see them in trouble all the time. Um, but it's going to take more. It's going to take more to hit the news to scare these individuals to start doing business the right way, focus on their area of opportunity, which is their PMA, compete against other brands, and stop, the race to the bottom of just undercutting and deceptive practices that really are only going to end in one way, which is them being closed down. So.
So listen, there's a lot to unpack here. I think first, if the only value proposition you have is the price, you will always lose, right? Because there will
Right.
always be another dealer willing to undercut you by a dollar, right? It's nothing but a race to the bottom, and you have to have more to compete with, right? Convenience, service, responsiveness. Like
It,
for example, Brian Dunstock, right? He opened his service department. It's now open 24/7. I think that's a very convenient thing to have
it
if you happen to be a Honda customer.
and I agree with you. Brian does an amazing job with 24-hour service. Very difficult to duplicate. You really cornered that market. Does very well, um, both in sales and service. Think about how Brian got there, and think about how even Teddy got to where we are, and we have the following that we have, and we have the our customers continue to do business with us, and we continue to not only retain but conquest. And it is why do business with us. I mean, if you think about Amazon, Max, Amazon does not have the lowest prices.
It's the highest prices.
I'm sure you can find lowest price on everything that you looked at, but it's the convenience. You basically go there, you search what you want, you got the options, you pick it, so your house the next day. So offering service versus price is the key to obviously profitability, to retain, to conquest clients, to retain your customers. I from day one that I've that we opened up. I'm gonna say Nissan. That was the focus. I mean, Ted Besson, which genius, did not want to treat people, based on their credit. Oh, they have bad credit, or any other um, things that dealers will use to close deals in a way that is not correct. We treated everyone amazing. It doesn't matter if you have a 400 score, no credit. It does not matter. Everyone got treated with respect, like a guest in your own home. I mean, we build a culture of the huggable dealer, right? And that's what we're known for. And we don't have to advertise cars below our cost. We don't have to do to drive traffic to play those games, because we have a brand name that people want to do business with us because of the experience. But that doesn't happen overnight. And to go back to your original question, why are they doing this? Dealerships that did not spend time on investing in their people that they have working for them, representing their brand, and making sure ordering this stuff. Looking at listening to what calls are coming in, how people are being taken care of, going out there and doing secret shopping, and really you know invest the time in your business to grow it organically in the right way. These people just want quick money. I got to make XYZ this month. If I advertise to market like everybody else, I'm not going to drive any traffic, and they can't do it. Why? They continue to break the law and continue to do business in a deceptive way.
But now let me ask you this. Do you really need to advertise with these third-party sites if your focus is your PMA?
So unfortunately, you got a couple things going, right? They own the search. So if you're searching for inventory, dictate search, right, Max? So if they're searching for a Honda Accord and you're a Honda dealer and you have 10 of them, those third-party sites are going to have thousands of them. So they will populate, they will show up. People are accustomed to going on those sites. We spend a lot of money on search. I mean, we populate as well, or drive people to our website, VLA ads and whatnot. But I think you do need a presence, unfortunately. You need a presence there to get them to your site once they land there. And then the experience on the site is everything else. Do you need to have the lowest price? No, you do not need to have the lowest price. You need to brand yourself on how you do business. We pride ourselves on educating our consumers that we charge no fees. Say no to fees and come to my website. You'll see that. I no longer even charge a documentation fee.
So then, listen, if I'm searching for a Nissan and I live in the Bronx, since you advertise the real sales price, you're probably not going to rank number one.
I will not, and there's more to that with these third-party sites, unfortunately, that we're shedding light on, and we will be probably most likely taking legal action, which is, as an example, Car Gurus now is helping dealers advertise, in a way that rates their cars a better deal than the person who's advertising in a transparent manner with one price. As an example, they'll advertise a car that I have online, let's say a Nissan Altima I have online for $19,900. This in the dealership will advertise it for $14,000. And then, it's legal. They will have there, well, my car has low jack for $2,500. My car has this for $2,000. My car has whatever else. And they have the bottom line price on the site, which makes all of those options legal to advertise that way. But Car Gurus is ranking the $14,000 price as the price that clients are paying, and that's inaccurate. What the advertised price is the final price after all the options. So Car Guru, and I've spoken to them multiple times, they don't care. I think they do this purposely to help dealers.
They're perpetuating the fraud.
Yes, the deceptive practices. But it's a necessary evil right now to be in those sites, unfortunately. As you know, attribution is difficult. You don't know how the client got to your site. I mean, they could have gone on cars.com, on Car Gurus. They could have seen us on social media. It could have been a combination of all. But you do need a presence. You need the presence. I think our name resonates with a lot of clients who've been in our area since 2009. I mean, you're talking about 30,000 clients probably over the course of 17 years almost we've been here. And
Listen, I don't want to sound antiquated, right? But let's say if I live in the Bronx, right? And I'm pretty sure there's only one. Is there another Volkswagen dealership in the Bronx besides yours?
the only Volkswagen dealership in the Bronx is your huggable dealer, Teddy Volkswagen. That's my marketing.
So listen, maybe I'm antiquated, right? But wherever I live, whether I live in the Bronx or I live in Brooklyn, my initial reaction is to go to the dealer that is closest to my house.
Yes, and there are clients that do just that. They will check your reviews, make sure that you're good, and they'll come in and negotiate a price. Obviously, that is the right way to do it. There are others that are just driven by price, and especially on used cars, right? No used cars alike. You can look at all data that you want, but where I buy my cars from, which I love buying cars from private parties, either be a lease return or I market to people to come in and sell us their car. I'm able to do a full MPI, put the car on the lift, understand what I'm buying versus buying cars at the auction. So we all pay different money. So I might pay more or less than the next guy. But when clients are looking for this car, all they care about is, lowest 2023 Ultima. Where can I find it? Why all of the dealerships that continue to advertise in a deceptive way are showing up first, and with ridiculous prices. The other topic in discussion that we've had with third party sites and lenders was the following: hey, why are you allowing your clients to advertise cars fictitiously and misleading your client that's on your platform that trusts the brand name of Car Gurus or whatever, cars.com or Auto Trader? They trust the brand, but you're allowing ABC dealer to advertise that car below market. You know what the market is. You have all the data. You can put safety guards in place. Say, hey, if this car, MMR on the car is $20,000, and we all know that cars now are going for MMR or above at the auction plus auction fees. Why are you allowing dealers to advertise their cars 5 to 10,000 below that? You know that is deceptive practices, and they are not doing anything about it.
So listen, and I told you this today, when we were on the phone. There are only two dealers that I know, and luckily I know both of them personally, and I mean this nationwide, right? That are not camera shy. It is you and Brian Benstock. And I see you guys on all of my feeds drilling in the same point that come to my dealership. I'm the owner or I'm the general manager, and the price you see is the price you pay. Right? So to me, the question is, right? Why are you the only two people doing it?
Again,
I'm not exaggerating. Like nobody else is doing it.
Max, the path of least resistance, right? I want to continue to build our brand name and our group as we are growing now. As you mentioned at the beginning, we're opening up a brand new state of the art Volkswagen dealership on Norton Boulevard. That's going to be amazing, by the way. I'm so excited about that project. That's been going on for a couple of years. We built it from the ground up, state of the art facility with a beautiful service department. I'm going to have to call Brian for advice and start doing 24 hours on service for everyone in Queens. And we are going to continue to brand the Teddy Auto Group way, which is again transparent pricing. The price they see is what you pay. We are not even charging a documentation charge, which it's legal in the state. You can charge 175. We decided to really, to continue to brand ourselves as the home of the no fees. We don't even want to charge that anymore. So my advertised prices online include the 175 doc fee. There is nothing that you pay when you visit a Teddy auto group store, either be Nissan, either be VW, either be Teddy Autos. We have a Highline used car operation as well. You pay what's advertised. That is it. There's no fees. Obviously, the importance for not only for the client but for us as an auto group is to offer products and coverages that will help the vehicle ownership and save clients money along the way, and to protect them from anything that could happen, and really train your staff to sell only the best products, only the best coverages, but to sell those coverages. And this is how you're able to compete with the dealers that advertise in a fictitious way. They're not doing that. They just want to lie, bring customer in, tell them they got to pay XYZ fees, and whoever wants say yes, they make the deal and they keep it moving. So,
Right, I agree with you, but I think the proof is in the pudding. And I don't even know if I can say it out loud, but I know you sent me an email a couple of days ago with some numbers.
you can't say it out loud. Teddy Nissan, as you know, we acquired Nissan back. We sold it in February 2023. We bought it back June 2026. Um, we ended up our first month open and really not even advertising yet. We ended up number one in our area by a large margin. We ended up number seven in the region out of 200, and I believe there's 220 dealers in the Northeast, Nissan dealers. We ended up at number seven. How do we do that? And how did we do that without advertising on third party sites? We did very little advertisement on search. It's the brand name. Just people knowing that the Teddy name was back, owning that store, drove a huge amount of traffic. We created awareness on social
Listen, you gotta take some credit where credit is due, because every time I wake up, right, and I'm 6 hours ahead of you, right? Whether I turn on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, the first thing I see is you or Brian Benstock.
We're
You
busy,
come
definitely.
into my feed. So if I was in the market to buy a car, right, I would either buy one from you or from Brian, only because you're the only two people I see. That's number one. Number two, you both sell a tremendous amount of cars with transparent pricing. So obviously it can be done. But then it leads me to believe that other dealers that sell way less cars, and that report that you shared with me had some dealerships that definitely fell from grace. Um,
Yes.
so, and the fact that they're not on social media, right? Meaning the owner is not on social media, not to mention the staff, leads me to believe that the owner kind of knows, right, that they're doing deceptive advertising, and why would they put their face
I
on that?
I walk through my dealerships daily speaking to clients. I give my cell number to every client that I meet. I have a poster in every dealership with the message "I'm here for you." QR code that goes right to my cell phone number. Why do I do that? I want to have um, my fingers on the pulse. I want to know what's going on real time. If any one of my employees acts in a way that is not according to our culture and our requirements, they're not here anymore. And they all know that clients have full access to me on my cell anytime. I don't hide from a customer. I don't give them my office number. I give them my cell. Every customer that I speak with. Why do I do that? First of all, I care about people. I want to help everyone to get the best possible deal and to have an amazing experience. But I also want to know if something is not right. I want to know if someone came into my service department and had to wait more than they should have. I want to know if that car was not fixed properly, right? I want to know if this customer came in and sat with a salesperson and the experience was not good. So by doing this, I can continue to improve, teach, and develop our people to be the best version of themselves and really to create that amazing experience for everyone that visits, sales, service, or parts. So, but to answer your question, why? It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes commitment. I mean, I'm in the office 6 days a week. I don't have to, but this is what I love. I love this business. I love meeting new people, and I love teaching and educating and mentoring young individuals that have so much potential to do things the right way, and to grow their book of business, which is all that we do. Right? We're all salesmen. We're just selling cars. Um, I think you're going to see a huge difference, Max. And I don't know who watches your podcast. Hopefully, multiple dealerships, because they should take notice that the FTC has done something now they have never done before. The FTC is now telling you that, hey, by the way, if you are involved in deceptive practices and you're not following our rules and regulations, we're coming after you personally. We're coming after your managers personally. And by the way, Mr. Dealers, if you know of a competitor of yours that is doing business in a deceptive way, please let us know. There's a toll-free number to call and rat on dealers. It's getting to the point that you will not be able to stay in business, and conduct business in a deceptive way. Um,
So listen, I think I disagree with you here, and I'll tell you why.
okay.
I think it's the same thing that happened in 2008 when we had the financial crisis that Securities and Exchange Commission couldn't pick up on,
Yep.
right? Because they were understaffed. I think FTC is understaffed compared to the number of businesses they regulate, because it's not just car dealers that they regulate. So
You're missing. There's one key element, Max, and I'm going to give you an example. There's one key element that was not around in 2008. AI. You can shop. You can audit a dealership in seconds with AI. AI will tell you on a website if cars are advertised properly or not. I mean, they have now, and I'll give you an example. I'll give you a short story. We obviously are getting ready to open Teddy VW of Queens, and we need checks, right? And any office manager or controller just call, the bank or Reynolds, right? Your DMS. Yeah, order me the checks. Thanks. Bye. Well, we like to save money, so I've been a little busy. I haven't had time to get to that point. Now that I'm close to opening, I needed to get checks. So I got quoted a ridiculous amount. I think the amount was $1,800 for 5,000 checks. Like, okay. I called my local printer across the street. We don't do that. No problem. I called the guy that quoted me that amount of money. Oh, we don't design them. We just print them. No problem. I call Reynolds. No, we'll design it, but you got to do business with us. Even more than 1,700. Okay, no problem. I went on chat that already knows what I do, right? And I go, hey, by the way, opening up a new dealership, Teddy VW, whatever. Need checks. What are the top companies that I should be considering that offer the lowest price in bulk? Within seconds, I had a list of 5 companies to call, and at the end it said, would you like me to? I recommend XYZ company. It interacts with Reynolds, CDK, and whatnot. It's one page, perforated. Would you like me to get you a quote? Just give me the quantity. I said 5,000 checks. I had within 2 minutes. Not only I found the companies, I had 5 companies to choose from. I had one company done, and I had 5,000 checks secured for $379.
Right.
So
Listen, good
AI,
point. I agree with you. FTC can use the AI tools to audit dealerships, but I think they're short-staffed to actually bring legal action, right? Because you have to get sued, right? What if
oh, I think so.
they're not find you guilty?
So to answer your question, and I certain things I can speak of, others I can't. But I met some of the investigators um, that investigated certain dealerships, and what I found out was the following. After becoming friendly with people, they don't tell you that you're being investigated, Max. You're going to continue to do business in a deceptive way, thinking that you're great, you're good. They will not say anything for probably a year or more until they have enough to put you away. So so
Agree.
so so dealerships right now, and by the way, the FTC is being very nice. They're sending out letters. If they find out you're doing business deceptive, like here's a letter, hey Max, we see that you're advertising prices, in a manner that doesn't, that's not in according to our rules and regulations. Please stop. If you don't stop, they're not coming back and telling you that again. You're not going to get a phone call. They're going to build a case, and they're coming, and when they come, you're going to have a problem because you're going to be paying hundreds, if not millions, of dollars in fines, and you're going to be charged for the difference between what you advertised the car for and what you sold the car for. You're going to pay for
Right.
sure.
There will be customer restitution. There'll be civil penalties.
You're out of business. I don't recall. Um, I don't recall the name of the group. I believe it was in Virginia that got hit with $70 million
In customer restitution.
in customer restitution. So, you know, you don't want to do business that way. I mean, if we can help dealers change their ways and then do business the right way, just focus on customer service, focus on selling good cars, put your cars through service, fix whatever needs to be fixed, and do business in a way that that client is going to continue to come and it's going to give you referrals. That's all you need. You don't need uh,
Listen, I believe that yes, hopefully you're right, and FTC will get the bad guys. But shouldn't the OEMs get involved? Because they get the complaints the same way FTC does.
OEMs care about wholesaling cars to you. OEMs care about you taking care of our clients, which are their clients, and to make sure they're happy. Um, but they're not going to get involved. They should. They should. And we've asked our OEMs, believe it or not, hey, look at how other dealers are advertising, because it's not in a manner that is according to how you should represent yourself. You're a brand, right? And you know, I don't think they want to get involved. I think eventually they will, uh, because they do have to protect their image. Not
And
gonna, I'm not,
leverage,
I'm not going
right?
to mention some dealerships out there that is scary what they
Right.
do, and they've been warned already, and not just the FTC, Consumer Affairs, everyone, and then they don't know how to do it any other way. So
Yeah, but the OEMs have actual leverage, right? They can eliminate co-op advertising dollars from your dealership if you break the rules, right? There
yeah,
should be franchise compliance issues that they can basically pull your franchise for violating it.
I mean, new cars, they obviously, Max, have policies in place. You cannot advertise a car for Nissan below, it's invoice minus 500. That's your floor. VW is an invoice. You cannot advertise a car below invoice. But used cars, no one's controlling anything. They're not looking at your website to make sure that you're compliant. I mean, there's large groups out there. I'm talking about groups that probably have 20 rooftops, if not more, that are outright advertising cars, and I'm not even going to say in a fictitious way, because they are telling you online on their website that they're charging you fees. They're saying this car's $20,000, and then if you read the disclosure, you got to pay us $995, whatever it is, right? That's illegal. It doesn't matter if you're showing it on the disclosure what you're charging above the price. The price, the FTC rule says the price must include all except
Right.
your local sales tax and cost of registration. Even your dock fee has to be included in the price.
Right. And FTC also says that fine print cannot fix the deception.
Nope, nope, nope. Price is the price, and so these dealerships, and I don't know. I really, it's strange to me, how the legal team that represents those auto groups allows them to continue to do that. I don't understand how the owners and managers are okay continue to advertise in a way that is, I'm not going to call it deceptive because they are showing what they're charging, but it's illegal. They're illegal. So, but again, listen, I focus on our business. I focus on doing things the right way. We look to improve every single day. We look to make customers' experience better and better and better. And it does hurt our business. Why we are pushing and being vocal, and why I wanted to discuss this on your show, because it does hurt our business. Unfortunately, clients are not properly educated. They don't know what's going to happen. They're looking at price, and they are going to the cheapest price that they find. And when they get there, um, you know, A, they bought the car and they paid a higher price. B, they left. They wrote all these complaints, which is what's gonna. I think it's really what's going to change things is that people are now more educated. You got AI. It tells them what to do. They are contacting the agencies, consumer affairs, um, attorney general, and whatnot. So I think the more complaints you see, um, the more light is going to shed on these deceptive practices, and it's really going to push them to change. But at the moment, myself and Brian are dealing with advertising our cars, and we're not the lowest because our price is real. We're not charging anything anymore. And that is hurting our business, right? That is hurting that lead that would have came to me if they knew that my price is lower than the guy that's misrepresenting his price of $5,000 below. When they get there, they're going to pay 7, 8,000 above that, but they don't know that until they get there. So it is hurting our business a little bit. We would be selling more used cars if everyone was playing fair and advertising cars for the price that they're willing to sell the cars. And we market our cars to sell. We don't market our cars because we love the car and we have an emotional attachment. We market cars below market to offer the clients the value. And this is after spending all of the money to making sure that these cars are working to factory specification. So
Yeah. So listen, I think to summarize, two things have to happen, right? I think the threat of FTC penalties is hypothetical at this point.
oh, it's not. They're coming. And,
No,
and,
I mean,
and listen,
there
I, I
needs to be
gotta
a real case.
I gotta tell you. Sorry to interrupt you. I gotta tell you that I was probably the only, and I'm sure Brian was happy as well. So I'm gonna say yes. We were probably the only two dealers that were happy that the FTC fund said, "Hey guys, we're here. This is what you got to do. You haven't been doing it. We're gonna start watching." I was like, "Yes, finally, FTC, where have you been?" So
Right. But I'm saying, like, I think for now, knowing the profile of a dealer, how cavalier not all, but majority of dealers are, they have a belief that bad things will happen, but they will not happen to them.
um, again,
So once there's one real case with like hundreds of millions of dollars in penalties attached to it, and it's publicized by FTC as a deterrent, things might change. But the other takeaway for me from today is that if you do business the right way and you happen to be the owner or the working partner, right, you should not be embarrassed to put out your phone number, make videos, explain to people, be the real spokesperson for your business.
I agree.
And as scary as it sounds, right? Again, I'm going to repeat myself. The only two dealers I see doing it is you and Brian. And there are 18,000 new car
Well,
rooftops
but,
in
but,
America.
but listen, that based on what you're saying, right? You answered your own question. We are the only dealers doing it because we are offering transparent pricing, so we're not afraid that the customer has my cell phone. All the customer is going to call me is if they need help with something, or to say thank you for the amazing experience. They're not going to call me and go, "Hey, you ripped me off. The price was not what you had advertised." Who wants those calls? So those dealers that are doing that will hide. They're either on the yacht, or they're on vacation, or they're somewhere but the dealership, and they're probably not even aware of the complaints that are coming in because they're being shielded by the managers that are running the place that only care about one thing, and that's obviously enriching their pockets and not doing the right thing for the consumer. So, but that answers your question why we are probably the only two dealerships that represent ourselves happily and share our personal information with clients.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. And listen, I hope people, that will watch this or are watching this will come out knowing, right, that if you do it the right way, you have nothing to be afraid of. You should be proud to be a spokesperson for your business. And you should not be concerned with FTC because if you do things the right way, FTC has no issues with it.
Max, I think that we should help make America beautiful again by improving the experience in a dealership. I'm ready.
Me too. Listen, I want to thank you
It's a
for
pleasure.
coming on and stay on, and we'll chat a little more.
Thank you for having me over.
All right, thank you.